The City of Tshwane has its hands full as some employees have downed tools, while it also tries to ensure that services are being delivered. City officials say there are delays and disruptions to crucial services due to what it calls an illegal strike. Contractors responding to some water and electrical outages are said to be intimidated when they try to repair the damage. Several parts of Tshwane have been left without electricity, while refuse is yet to be collected in various other areas. Let's understand what exactly is going on here. Joining us now to discuss this further is City of Tshwane spokesperson Selby Bokaba. Selby, thank you so much for your time. Who exactly is on strike? Because we're looking at various reports. Some members are distancing themselves from the strike, but at the same time, some of those who are taking part in the strike say they belong to SAMU. What exactly is going on?
Good evening, Bongiwe and the viewers. Some is on record saying that they are not on strike, but we have seen members that have embarked on strike that are wearing SAMU T-shirts with the logo of SAMU, and they're carrying the banner of SAMU. So we are convinced that it is a clique of employees that are affiliated to SAMU that are on strike.
What do they want?
It's difficult to tell because there's not been any official communique from SAMU informing us why they're on strike and what are the reasons. So we assume that this may have to do with the wage increase demand. You know that we were supposed to have implemented the increase last July, 1st of July, but we couldn't due to financial constraints that the city is facing. And we have applied for an exemption to the South African Local Government Bargaining Council on the 7th of March, and we are awaiting the outcome of the Bargaining Council.
How many employees are part of this clique, as you say?
It's difficult to tell, but I can tell you majority of the employees are not on strike. The only problem we have is that those employees that are not on strike cannot report for duty. When they go to the offices, they can't access the offices because the gates are locked, and some are forcibly removed from the offices and forced to join the strike. So it's difficult to tell, but we are trying to implement HR processes to look at the people that have not reported for duty so that we can implement the no work, no pay rule, and also summarily suspend those that are ringleaders and that are participating in this illegal and unlawful and unprotected strike.
How do you then apply a no work, no pay rule if some are wanting to come back to work but are not able to? Will they not also be impacted?
No, I mean, we are taking photographic footage and video footage of those that we can see that willingly are participating in the strike and those that are forced. So we have to fill in the attendance register every day, and we have informed managers that every 10 a.m. they must collect the attendance register. So we now know who's on duty, who's not on duty. And even those that are forced to participate in the strike, we would be able to distinguish between those that are actively participating in the strike willingly, and those that are forced to participate.
I'll get to the issue of the footage in just a moment, because that in and itself has become subject of controversy. But let's then go to the impact that this has had on service delivery. You say that there are some of those who are not able to be able to carry out their duties because of intimidation. But this is also having a dire impact on service delivery. There's outages, power outages in Tshwane. Refuse is not being collected in some of the areas. How much of an impact is this having on service delivery? Give us a picture of how things are looking on the ground.
The impact is severe, Bongi. Tshwane is divided into 7 regions. And I can tell you that region 1, 2, 3, 4, little bit of 5, 6 and 7, there are serious problems there in terms of restoration of power. Some of those areas in those regions have had prolonged outages since Monday. And we have been able to do some catch-up, but we have not done enough. There are areas where we would go and restore overnight, and then there will be cable theft. So those are the challenges that we are faced with. And refuse collection, we have a catch-up plan that we have implemented. So you'd find that if, let's say, your date for collection was Friday, we won't be able to collect on a Friday, but we are hoping that come Sunday, we would have collected that. So we are busy now with a backlog and electricity. And because we've got few system operators, those that are from electricity, that are switching on electricity. They are intimidated, and we have enlisted the services of Metro Police, so they escort those teams when they go to attend to service interruptions. It's not easy because during the day you can't work, as employees fear being identified by those that are on strike. So we try to do work and try to reduce the backlog in the evening. So we start in the evening and work until early hours of the morning. So,
Selby, can you link the strike to these outages? Can you say that this is an act of sabotage?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, customers or residents have logged calls, and when we try to go out and restore power, the employees go and lock the gates of the depots. So we are unable to access the vehicles and the equipment to go out and do the work. And it is pretty obvious. I mean, if you look at Fetchfield, to give one example, Fetchfield in Centurion, where at about 11 p.m. we went out to connect or to energize the area. And shortly thereafter, there was cable theft. Who did that? It's employees or they are contractors. So these are people that know the infrastructure inside out, and they're able to sabotage us.
So in an effort to try and take this footage, as you say, the city has done, the EFF has now opened a case against the Community Safety MMC for using what it believes are AfriForum drones for aerial sensitive information. The MMC says this is just political posturing from the EFF, but it does raise some concerns. Was SAPS not available?
Bongi, I cannot comment on that because that is political. I'm a civil servant. I deal with administrative issues, and the administrative issues that I'm dealing with are that our teams are being escorted by SAPS and Tshwane Metro Police Department when they go out to respond or to attend to service disruptions.
So do we need to seek answers for this directly from the MMC so that we understand if the SAPS did not have the required drones for it to be able to perform this function of taking these pictures? Because this is not new. We've seen protests, and we've seen the SAPS being able to take pictures of protesters and thus being able to profile who is behind a strike. But in this case, we are seeing a drone being used, which the EFF says belongs to AfriForum, and the MMC says it's political posturing. So do we go to the MMC for answers?
I would suggest, Bongi, that you redirect that question to the MMC responsible for community safety.
All right, we will redirect the question. In fact, we will try through you to get the MMC in order to get the answers. But I'm quite keen as well, because the Mayor, Selby, says that, in various reports that this strike seeks to drive a narrow political interest and create chaos in the city, and it will not be tolerated. Has he told you what political interest is this, and to what benefit?
Bongi, I try to dissociate myself from politics. I saw that statement. That statement comes from the political office. I speak on behalf of the administration. So I would suggest that that question be redirected to the office of the Executive Mayor. All
right. As a final question then, Selby, we will direct these questions to the political heads. Let's talk about this. How does the city see this being resolved? Because you're still trying to figure out who is behind the strike. At the same time, services have been disrupted in a major way. How then is the city planning to do this? Will you be making arrests, imploring SAPS to do this, or are you bringing these members to the table to try and speak to them?
Well, you see, you've got people that are invisible. The leadership of the unions has not come to us to say, here is our grievance, let's engage. They are on record saying that they are not on strike officially, but we know that they are on strike. So it is very difficult to engage. Who do you engage with? We have managed, through very difficult circumstances, to attempt to provide the necessary services, and we are doing well under the circumstances. And we will continue to work overnight over the next coming days to try and clear the backlog in terms of restoration of power and collection of refuse.
Okay, Selby, thank you so much for that. And as, of course, we say, we are going to be trying to reach the political heads to get an understanding of some of the issues that need clarity in this particular matter. But thank you so much.